Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. We're glad that you came. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that not many people talk about, and that's 5 things that you will most likely hate about retirement. And we all talk about the things that we like, but these are things that you'll probably hate. I just want to talk about them today. When I look back when I first retired, about a year and a half into retirement, I caught myself standing in my kitchen at about 10 in the morning, and it was on a Tuesday, fully dressed, nowhere to be, and I'll be honest with you, uh, I didn't feel, it didn't feel peaceful. It felt kind of strange. And it turns out that many people have experienced exactly what I was feeling that day. Retirement can really shake up who you think you are. Every one of us have something in the back of our head telling us who we think we are. And retirement can shake that up. Men especially seem to struggle with that. Now, that struggle, it can even raise your risk for depression. This is Health, Wellness, and Community. I'm Quentin Moore, and on our last episode, we talked about what you were gonna love about retirement. Well, today I want to talk to you about 5 things that might catch you off guard and what you can actually do about each one. The first thing that I want to talk about today is the identity gap. Let's be real for a second. Your job hands you an easy answer to what do you do? The question, what do you do? Retirement, when you go through retirement, it takes that answer away and it leaves you with just pure silence. And a lot of us experience that. And when I retired from the US Public Health Service at 46, I didn't just lose a paycheck. I lost my rank, I lost my uniform, and to be honest with you, I lost some respect I should have kept after 22 years of active duty service when you think about it, because I worked for the U.S. Public Health Service and I was assigned at the federal prison. And watching the Bureau of Prisons treat U.S. Public Health Service officers like second class citizens with no real backup from our leadership, it made that loss sting even more. I'm not going to harp on that, but here's the fix for folks who are in or for folks who have never worn the uniform. Build your answer to the question, what do you do, before day one of retirement, before it even gets here. Mine became professor, coach, mentor, podcast host. Um, I know it's a lot, but for me, it was something I enjoyed and it really didn't bog me down at all. You don't wait around for retirement to hand you an identity. If you do that, you're going to be lost. You have to walk in with one already under construction. So before you retire, you want to figure this thing out, or at least you want to be working on figuring it out, but you don't want to go into it blindly. Number two, the weight of too much time. When your time isn't filled with intention, your well being can really take a hit. And when we look at it, studies show that close to 1 out of every 4 retirees deal with real depression symptoms. And too much free time is actually one of the biggest reasons why. I know you all, if you've watched the 5 things that you'll love about retirement, I stated in there that retirement decreased the chances of retirement, and the research does show that. But the research also shows for those unprepared folks, it can increase the possibility of experiencing depression symptoms. So when you look at this, freedom without structure, it stops feeling like freedom, plain and simple, and it stops feeling like freedom pretty fast. So for me, I built the structure, and when I built that structure, I built a structure quick. Uh, a teaching schedule, uh, fraternity duties, not because I had to, but because I needed something to hold my day together, like glue. Most people, they plan their retirement money right down to the penny. But here's something: almost nobody plans what they'll actually do on that random Tuesday morning, like I experienced. So you want to be prepared. Number three, losing the built in community of work. Think about it. Work, it hands you community without you even trying. It hands you your team, your unit, uh, the break room conversations, and you never had to build any of that on purpose. It just came with the job. And when that job ends, that community can end along with it. And sometimes almost overnight. I've talked to retirees who have felt the exact same jolt. When you look at it, the calls that used to come every day, they just stopped coming. That's exactly why I actually leaned harder into my fraternity, into my church, my mentoring, my coaching, my teaching community, and relationships once I retired. That kind of community, meaning the work community, it doesn't rebuild itself. In fact, you got to go and rebuild it on purpose for yourself. So just remember that. Number four, the money anxiety that sneaks up even when you planned well. Most people in retirement, they get this wrong. They figure money worries in retirement only hit the folks who didn't save enough. And that's just not true in any form of the word. Even people who plan every single thing out, they often feel a fresh wave of worry the second that steady paycheck stops. And watching your savings go down instead of up, that feels different. And it feels more different than they expected. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. Let's get that clear. And I'm not going to pretend to give you money advice right here. But clinically, I can tell you this. I can tell you this much. Money stress and mental health are deeply connected. That worry is worth naming instead of carrying it by yourself. Go talk to a financial professional before you retire. Notice I said before you retire, not after the worries show up. When you go into retirement, you want to have a picture of what you think will happen or the things that happen on a regular basis that many people aren't prepared for. Your financial advisor can help prepare you for those. And even if it does sting, it stings a lot less when you have guidance in that way. I would advise you to read up on your own, not just depend on a financial advisor. But with your reading and with their expertise, it can make things work a lot smoother for you. Now, number five, too much togetherness at home. Did you hear that? Too much togetherness at home. Let's talk about something real that people don't say out loud enough. They don't say it enough. When two people go from seeing each other a few hours a day to seeing each other all day, every single day, that's a big adjustment for both, not just for one person. In fact, I've talked to plenty of retired couples in my own community who laughed. They laughed about it now, but they weren't laughing in year one. And the fix, it's not complicated. It just takes effort. It takes a lot of effort. You want to talk about the expectations before retirement. Notice that you need to start this stuff before you retire. something that a lot of us have not done. You want to talk about who's doing what and who's doing what, when, and how much space does each person still need? And I want you to do something this week before anything else. Sit down and sketch out a simple weekly plan for your first 90 days of retirement. If you think that's too much, do a month. If you think that's too much, do 2 weeks. But put something down on paper, and I feel it will help you. In fact, if you've got a spouse or a partner, I want you to build it together. I want you both to sit down and build it together. Say the identity gap and say it out loud. Name the community you're going to need to rebuild. That one conversation can save you a whole lot of confusion and frustration later. Believe me on this. Now, before we go, and hey, if you haven't seen my video, 5 Things You'll Love About Retirement, go back and watch it. It's linked right here. And honestly, it's the balance this episode needs. With that being said, now go and retire with your eyes wide open. We out.